can't believe, every time there's a packed house, I can't believe it, but I should get used to it because Urban World audiences always, always come out. So I just want to thank you so much. There are people sitting on the floor right now, on the sides, people who are waiting to come in when the lights go out, and they're going to take seats on the steps. Y'all can tweet that if you'd like. It's a sitting room only situation. No, just really excited about this film. As Gabrielle said, it's a small picture. No explosions, no chases, no wild sex. It's just kind of the intimate lives of black folk and the nuanced kind of interior of us. And that's what I'm looking to do and looking to share with you. I want to shout out to a couple people that are here after the film. Imiatsi Coronali, the leading lady, will join me. In the audience, we have Paul Barnes, our producer, black man producer, right there in the middle, and our amazing cinematographer, Bradford Young, black man cinematographer. Yeah, we all came together to try to create something. We hope you like it. I gotta say, the film opens on October 12th. You all are in here, but we're hoping that you'll take the message out. If there's any piece of it that you think is interesting enough to share with someone, please, please do. Follow us on Facebook. It's Middle Nowhere Film on Facebook, and it's Middle Nowhere on Twitter. We ain't got money for ads, billboards, commercials. We have you, and I think it's good enough. I think it's better than good. So thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, sorry, I'm getting in trouble because I didn't make an announcement. So there is a trailer, Urban World sponsored trailer that's going to go where you're going to see a lot of other great projects, and then there's going to be about a minute, sir, about a minute of black time while he changes reels. So, you know, you can snuggle with your loved one, you know, do whatever, tweets, do whatever you're going to do, and we'll see you after. Thanks. David?
All right, wasn't that amazing? Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Ava DuVernay. That was an incredible film. I'm sure you have some of your crew and cast members here you might want to say hello to and thank you.
This is them.
Okay.
But there is one sister here. Is Rara here? Rara Valverde is one of our soundtrack artists. This is Rara. She has the first song in the movie. The sister is amazing. She has like 2 songs in I Will Follow. If any of you liked I Will Follow's music, she's amazing. She, you know, people know her as a backup singer for Jill Scott and everybody else we love, but she is really, I think, blowing everybody out of the water. So, my favorite artist, and she always says yes when I ask her, oh, can you have a song? She's like, oh, girl, I'll hook you up with a song. So, thank you. Hope you liked it. It's your first time seeing it. Good, good, good.
So the film was just, I'm sure everyone has their own opinion, but I think it's amazing. I'm just floored by how you went into a prison to tell a story about freedom. You know, I think it's an amazingly nuanced and intricate and just the kind of stories we need. You know, so I want to know. My first question is, Ava, where did this story come from?
Well, I have a husband in prison. No.
We thought so.
That's what everybody wants me to say. That's what everybody really wants. They want me to tell them about my man in prison. But no, I know of and have grown up around so many women who actually do have a loved one who's incarcerated. There's some women here tonight that were invited by affirmative participants who are kind of going through this. A number of organizations who have people in the house that we've been working with to kind of expose this film and share the film with them. And it's a serious thing. It's an epidemic within the black and brown communities. And it's something that we don't, you know, at all portray cinematically. When we're talking about stories that have to deal with prison, it's always the incarcerated individual and never, you know, kind of the depressive effect that it has on the fabric of the family and therefore the community. And so I was really interested in exploring that. And then I've been playing with this idea of kind of lost love and what we do when our anchor is removed. So I Will Follow, it was through death, and in this film it's through incarceration, and it's just something that, you know, as a filmmaker I'm really interested in trying to figure out.
Imiatsi, yes. You are an amazing treat to watch on screen. I just want to know how you prepare for the role and how you kind of channel this character.
My preparation really was just taking the experiences that I had, feeling separated, feeling lost from someone. And that's the one thing I like about this film is though it's about incarceration, you can relate that to anything, to a time in your life when you might have felt like you lost a love or lost a loved one or something. And so for me, that's really what I pulled from those emotions and those experiences and other people that have crossed my path that had those kinds of stories, you know. I think that's the wonderful thing about being an actor is you take all of your experiences and the experiences of those that you know and form a character. And so that's really what I did with movie. All right, thank you.
We're going to keep this short because I know everyone has lots of questions. I have one last question. Well, it's going to be like a 3-part question. So it's A, B, C, you know, like that. So Ava, I mean, you're a director. But to me, more than anything, you're a person who kind of builds movements and who inspires people. Through your films, through Affirm. I mean, you know, Image Nation is proud to be one of the Affirm partners here in New York City. We've developed an art, and of course Urban World. And we've developed an art exhibit where you're inspired 5 artists to do original works around your film. It's in Harlem, come see it. And the film is being used by the Center for Media Justice to address issues of predatory phone calls in the prisons. So there's so many inspirations and movements that are coming out of your work. Can you talk a little bit about Affirm, first of all? The film opens October 12th, and as Ava said, you know, this film is going to make it into theaters because you support it and because you tell people to go see it and because you tell them that you love it. And so can you tell us what inspired Affirm and what type of movement you'd like to see grow from there? And then also tell us about what you wanted people to take away from this film. It's a totally non-didactic story about humanity and love, but it's being used for advocacy. So just address those 2 questions, please.
Great. No, thank you. How many people here know what Affirm is? Does anyone? A few people. Oh, great. So yeah, Affirm is basically a farmer's market to Hollywood's supermarket, right? We're the homegrown, hands of the earth, the mama who's cooking the greens. You get the metaphor, you know what I'm saying. It's a collaboration, a collaborative of arts advocates, black arts advocates around the country. In New York, it's Image Nation and Urban World. In Philly, it's an organization called Real Black. In Atlanta, it's Bronze Lens. In D.C., it's the Howard University grad students, the only black film school in the country. And so there are all of these, you know, arts organizations that are coming together and saying we don't have to wait for a studio to distribute films that we care about, that we love, that we're nourished by. We will do that. And so we all get together 2 times a year and we pool our resources and we have calls every week and exhaustive planning and strategy, and no one gets paid, and we benefit only through kind of our love of sharing these stories with you. And so we are the studio. To release
the movement build and seeing the movement grow.
Oh yeah. You know, we're institution building, and all of us are in it for that reason. And so, Middle of Nowhere is our 4th film. The first one was I Will Follow. The second one was a film called Kenya Rwanda. The third one was a film called Restless City, which Bradford also shot. And then the 4th one is Middle of Nowhere. And our goal is to kind of, you know, really share and present and offer exemplary black independent films to anyone that wants to see them. And so that's what we do with Affirm. And what else?
Well, I mean, this film is being used for advocacy. So
yeah.
I want to know what your vision was for this film. And even with I Will Follow, it became a film about breast cancer awareness and other issues. So is that part of your vision? Because to me, you're constantly building movements around your art.
No, those I guess come out of after the film is made, looking at and seeing who can we share it with that may have interest in it, how can the film help in whatever nook and cranny you can help. But that doesn't come in the creative process, in my mind, so much. It comes when I get on the phone with you and you're like, we're going to use this for, and I'll be like, okay, Kanzi, whatever you say, we'll do it whatever you say. So, yeah, the creative process is really separate from the marketing distribution process in my head. But I love the fact that people kind of take the film and run with it. I love the fact that we have Affirm Mavericks all over the country who are doing tweet chats and meetups and and doing art and exhibits, and there's so many people kind of creating, you know, work and moving energy around these films, not just mine, but, you know, Andrew's film, Restless City, and Alric's film, Kinyarwanda, and the films that we'll be releasing in the future. So there's really a movement going on. I mean, it's certainly not just me, and it's certainly not just even the Affirm filmmakers. I mean, Terrence Nance is here with an amazing film. Dennis Storch, Good Day to Go Back and Sexy, he's about to make a feature. Barry Jenkins, Medicine for Melancholy. Dee Reese, Pariah, Tina Mabry, Mississippi Dan. I mean, the thing goes, Soul Food Junkies, Byron, Yaki's here with Wolf, Matthew Cherry with The Last Fall. I mean, we're coming for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're rolling deep. Like, there's a couple dozen people that are not playing games. Like, we're trying to make films. It's grown-up business. And we're not necessarily looking for authentication and validation from kind of dominant culture. So that's, but, you know, we can only do that for as long as people gather around it. So Brad and I talk about this a lot. It's really a matter of, we can't just make the films in isolation. Like, the film doesn't become a film until it's shared. And the audience meets us halfway, and that's really what the struggle is right now, is will you come? Like, will you come on these opening weekends so that we can continue to do it? And yeah, that's what Affirm's mission is.
And also, will you participate? Affirm.com has a portal where you can become a volunteer. You can help spread the word. You can bring other people to see the film. So, will you participate is really the question. So, did you all love the film?
Yeah.
I am. So if you want to see this film do extremely well on October 12th, please make sure that you participate. Please take a postcard. We have postcards. Give it to a friend. Log on to affirm.com and join the movement there. Contact Image Nation. Contact Urban World. But please, please, please become involved.
Yeah, and if you can't do any of that, just tweet and Facebook and tell somebody.
Or buy another ticket.
Yeah, right. So we take questions, and I just want to point out, you know, Paul Garnes is one of the few black men working in the black independent cinema space who can kind of, you know, talk about anything to do with production. I mean, he's amazing. Like, he actually, well, I won't tell him what you did, but you've done a lot of things. I'll go off. And then Bradford, I mean, the Urban World reel that they showed, like, all of it's basically shot by Bradford. Like, it was like the Bradford Fest. Like, I turned to Gabrielle, else, like, you recognize that. You're like, oh, those are all my movies. Pariah, Restless City, like, he's a phenom. He knows it too. He's sitting there like a G. So, so if you have any questions for them or questions about acting or anything, please feel free to spread the love. Hi.
Hi. Question, I suppose it's primarily for you, Ava. Can you talk a little bit about the type of roles that you write for black women and how you think about that in terms of the complexity and what you force them to do in your films? It seems, you know, really unusual and a nice surprise for me to see that type of work.
Thank you. He's asking about writing films for black women. He said it in a much more eloquent way, but that was the short version, the log line.
Well, difficult or strong roles for black
right.
women.
Right. Well, I'll also share that question with Imiazzi, but I will just say that you know, a lot of filmmakers define themselves in different ways. I know, you know, African American filmmakers who don't want to be defined as black filmmakers. They want to be defined as a filmmaker first. I think that's cool. For me, I'm a black woman filmmaker. Like, I am a black woman filmmaker. I make films for and about black women, and anyone else who's interested in seeing it, we would like you to come on. But really, this is a conversation that I feel like I'm having with my sisters and my community, and so that really dictates what the stories are. And you said what I forced them to do in the movie. That's a little much. But what did I force you to do in the film? But no, you had talked a little bit just about the rarity of having a role that you know, has a black woman in the lead. Basically, you're in every frame of the film, and you know, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, just a woman, a character that's so complete, that goes through a journey. She's not stereotypical, you know. She's like women that I know in my real life. And so that was the thing that really excited me about reading the script, you know, and that she was the lead character. But all of the women in the film were complete women that had stories, that had a journey, and that doesn't happen often. And that is really what made me all the more excited and blessed and grateful that Ava decided to give me that shot, because that also doesn't happen often. So thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
First of all, I want to say great film. I loved it.
He said it was a great film. and what else, sir?
It was a great film. I loved it. Also, I noticed you touched on a lot of like struggles between the kids and the parents, like how they don't talk. Like I can relate to that, so I just want to know what inspired you to do that. Like what made you touch on that subject?
Yeah, he's asking about the relationship with the mother and the daughter, and being a daughter and having a mother. You know, it's complicated when you become an adult woman and you are trying to have a relationship with another adult woman who happened to raise you. It's complex, and black mamas are a special kind of mamas. So I can't do a film and not talk about the black mamas. I got some black mamas clapping in the corner. So yeah, no, I mean, just really wanted to integrate this family of women. It's really a family of women, and this young man, this boy that they are raising together. And really, Brad and I and Paul really talked a lot about, integrating just the little looks, like at their talking, like he's listening to all that, he's hearing all that, and this is what we do. I mean, we're largely a community of women raising men, and so was commenting on that just very subtly within the fabric of the whole narrative. So, thanks for picking up on it.
Do you have a question on you?
Yes, this question is for Bradford.
Yay! A question for Bradford.
If there was ever a star in this movie, it is your use of the close-up.
Yes.
Right? It certainly did facilitate your production of intimacy on a number of levels. Could you talk about that, the use of that film form? It's just there. It's beautiful. I'm not tired of it. The actors carry it very well. So could you talk a little bit about the cinematography?
Well, in terms of the close-up, I mean, it's not that hard. It's really beautiful, amazing
Yes, it is.
folks in the film. But I think close-ups are. I think we forget that the human body is like a landscape. So and for me, I'm sort of like, Ava and I talked about it a lot. I think we work backwards a lot. A lot of us. I think it's a common notion maybe that we would start films very wide and sort of pushing closer. I think in this film we wanted to be a little bit more intimate. We started a little bit closer and then pulled out. So I think the close-up was just a way of us just really stretching that idea of intimacy, and also trying to connect this idea again of geographical landscape to like bodies in space sort of landscape. So yeah, I mean, and that's just, I kind of feel like that's also, Ava and I talk about this a lot as well. That's just kind of where I feel like I start a lot of times. It's just easy for me to start on a close-up and then sort of work out, because you can get a lot of mileage out of a close-up before you start pulling out the other things. So it just became part of a really, I think that's one of the like great achievements of our collaboration, was this well thought out sort of thing that we forged in pre-production. We were always talking about just being very intimate and being very close. And this film, in terms of Ava and our collaboration, it was, Ava pushes. She definitely pushes you to sort of get out of your comfort zone and do things that you haven't done before. And for me, this was definitely a journey into a way of shooting that I haven't really explored it within myself. So back to the close-up, that's also just sort of that default notion. Okay, well, at least I know with the close-up, she'll like it. Maybe go into other things. But yeah.
Great.
Hey, I do want to ask, I'm not going to do the question on that, but your film talk a lot, both your films actually, I realize, the family will talk a lot about your, relationships, committed relationships, how, complex a committed relationship. I remember in Follow, I Will Follow, there was a boyfriend that came back, and in this film, I just think it's a love triangle. I don't know what the question is, but talk about the complexities of relationships. Both your films deal with that. I just want to know if there's any explanation or reason why you.
Yeah. Well, I just love those kinds of films. I mean, you know, and we just don't see them enough with black and brown bodies. I mean, I love like white people films about complex relationships. Like, I'll be up in The Descendants all day, like, you know, or whatever. And I just want to see those with us. And so those are what I'm interested in making. You know what I mean? I mean, we are, as, you know, obviously, I mean, it's a given. It's complex and nuanced and multifaceted and, you know, messed up and amazing as everyone else. And so, you know, I love those films that kind of just deal with relationships. I mean, Nothing But a Man, Claudine, Love Jones, whatever. You know, the adult drama with grown folks being grown folks, and it's not a historical piece. It's in the current day, and it's not a comedy. You know what I mean? It's like now, and it's contemporary, and so yeah, I mean that's what we're interested in. And even though Brad wants to do, what's the film you want to do? It's about a black cow girl. What was it? It's good. It's fantastic, but it's like he's from Kentucky. He's a country boy, so he wants to do a period piece, but he's gonna have to do some more present day pieces first. Then he can go back and put dust on the lens and do all the stuff he wants to do. But yeah, no. I mean, I think as of now, we're super interested in just exploring the now, and there just aren't enough films that are dealing with now in a dramatic way when it comes to black and brown people. I don't feel. So, so yeah, thank you for the question, comment.
Young lady in the white.
It was an awesome film. I had an excellent time watching the images. One of my favorite images was the wave crashing. Do y'all remember that? Yeah. It just took my breath away. I was like right in the middle, like, oh my gosh. I wanted to ask about at Ruby's house, when you come to the door, there was this drawing right beside the door. Can you just talk about that drawing?
I love when black people would watch a movie head close. You know what I mean? These are the conversations we should be having. You know what I mean? I don't care about who's casting in some lady's film and petitions about, you know, who's being cast in a film. What about the films that we're making? Let's analyze D. Reese's Pariah shot for shot and talk about the art on the wall and what it means. That's dope. Thank you for that question. I'm sure I will not get that question at any other point. It is a local artist from Leimert Park. And it's a piece that I picked up in Leimert Park, and it's a sketch line drawing of a mother and child. And we put it on the door. It was representative of what Ruby can't have because her man is not with her. And so, so she walks past this, and it's just a little subliminal thing that you caught, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Before we move on, I actually want to ask a question to our producer on the panel. I want to know, besides the fact that Ava was bringing this project and she has a stellar reputation, what about Middle of Nowhere made you decide to produce it, and what do you look for when you're choosing a project?
Can I just also add to that? What made you leave your very high-paying gigs? He produces The Game. He produces the new Being Mary Jane that's going to be on. He's like an extraordinary. What made you leave? Fly yourself to LA. Put yourself up because I could not find a place for you. Oh, drove your car. And just feed yourself and like not make money. His wife is right here. She's like, I don't know, honey, why I did all that. But let me do it again. Why did you do all that?
Ava obviously is a very passionate, articulate filmmaker who sells a very compelling story. But she actually showed this script to me, now it must be 7 years ago. And at the time, I knew her as a publicist, not as a director. And we were all thinking she was a little loose in the head because she was saying that she was going to give up her high-paying job as a publicist and follow the dream of being a director. So of course, years later, when she came back and said, hey, I'm about to produce Middle of Nowhere, and I'm looking for a good producer. What were you supposed to say to that? I'm like, okay, I'm right here. I'll come do it. And she was, I don't know if she was pretending to be surprised or if she was really surprised. I don't know.
I called him and said, Paul, you're obviously, you know everyone. Do you know like someone who come and work for no money or who lives in LA, who will help me with this, because, you know, obviously you won't do it, right? And, yeah, I don't even think I framed it that way. I honestly was calling you, asking you for help, advice, a referral. And he said, you know, I think I'll do it. He talked with Tammy, his wife, and literally left Atlanta, drove to Los Angeles, stayed on someone's couch. I mean, the man is a successful man. He can't be sleeping on couches, but he did. And single-handedly produced this. I mean, the whole film was made for $200,000.
Way in the back.
And Beyonce, how are you found? You answer.
Just through an audition. Just through an audition. It was just one of the ones where someone finally said yes after the 20 no's.
Chastity.
Hi, I'm Chastity Saunders. I just wanted to say
Hey, I know you're on Twitter.
That's good. That's a good thing. My name rang a bell. So I actually got a chance to go to Sundance Film Festival this year, and I didn't get a chance to see the film, so I'm glad that I finally got to see it. But I did get a chance to celebrate with you with winning the award, and I want to say congratulations to you for being the first African American. I'm glad that you guys just touched on relationships, and of course you've known him for years. I want to say, how has your award, has it changed the perception that others have of you in the film realm, especially coming from being a publicist and now doing your own films? Has that award at all changed the way that folks view you? Has it opened up other doors for you, or is it still the relationships that you've built over the years?
Thank you for the question. She's asking about an award we got at Sundance. And
She won Best Director. She's the first Black woman to ever win it.
She's asking if that made any difference in things. I don't know. I think it's interesting. You know, Bradford also won a major award at Sundance the year before, Excellence in Cinematography for Pariah in 2011, and it's you know, it changes things and then it doesn't. I mean, I was just reading, I don't know if you agree, you should speak to it as well, but I was reading an article with Octavia Spencer, who won the Academy Award, and she was like, yeah, still don't have jobs. You know what I mean? Like, everything that's coming out are things that she did before she actually won. And I identify with that in a way because, you know, I certainly think that for, you know, some of my white male counterparts who won that award in previous years, they might have had different experiences around the award than I did, I'll say that. Certainly, there were no studio meetings. There were no one was beating down my door to say, please direct my thing. But, you know, we didn't go into Sundance with that demeanor. You know, we really try to work from a permissionless place. We give ourselves permission, and I'm not asking you to, can I make this film? You know what I mean? So, in that, it didn't really push me out of shape too much. I mean, it was expected. I don't think we expected anything other than, I didn't expect to have anything like that. So to leave with that was a nice cherry on top. But some cool things have come up from it, like ESPN films. I'm making a film right now about Venus Williams, about her fight for fair pay at Wimbledon, which I'm really excited about. I think that came a little easier because of the award. Certainly we, you know, are getting kind of more robust attention from the press. And, you know, I think the best thing about the award for me was people seemed proud. Black people seemed proud, and that is what I remember out of that whole whirlwind. It was like, you know, Ebony and Essence and the Facebooks and the tweets from fam, you know what I mean, from Black people. And it was really nice, you know. That's what I remember from it. But basically it came and went. And, you know, Brad went through with the same experience. So, I don't know, how was it for you when you...
Struggle continues.
She's shading, brother. Right here. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is she? Where? Oh my gosh. You're not slick. I Aisha Coley, the casting director, is trying to sit there in the cut. I didn't even know you were here. You see her? It's right there. And I was like, Aisha's here.
Aisha, can you stand up?
Stand up. This is a black woman casting director. She's cast everything you love. She's cast. Thank you. I appreciate it.
We have a brother on top, and then we're going to get Sister Malika.
While we get his question, it was Aisha who said, I have this woman on tape that you should see. And had her on tape first, and I watched her on tape, and then we brought her in. But it's Aisha who has to go through the negotiations and me saying, no, I don't like that person, and I love that person. Can you get him for me? No. I can get you this person. I don't like that person. Can I see this person? No, you can't see that person. But look at this person. I mean, it's just a big negotiation. It's a big, I don't know, just the casting director process and the relationship is the beginning of everything. Before I talk to Brad,
actually.
Yeah, before I talk to Brad, before I talk to Paul or anything, it's about who are the bodies that are going to inhabit the characters. And so, anyway, negotiation might not be the word, even though you're a good negotiator. But I'm so glad you're here. I wish you'd be sitting up here, but I know you're shy.
This is a question for Aisha, kind of, and maybe for you. We were noting how much the family looked alike. So did you start with Emayatsi? How did you cast the family?
Yeah, Aisha, how'd you cast it?
Well, no, it was kind of unusual.
Well, no, it was kind of unusual. And Ava, you remember the story actually, because we started with David. David was the one that we got lucky, and he was the first one cast, and then Emayatsi was after that, and then we kind of picked the best, I think, actors of the ones that we saw, and I think there was a mindfulness about blending them as a family, but I think it just kind of worked out. So, you know, Emayatsi was someone I had seen from, I think it was a Black Film Festival. You submitted yourself, so I kind of knew her from that, and anyway, one thing led to the other, so we just kind of put together some actors that we really loved, and luckily they did look like they were a part of a strong team.
Thank you very much.
Two things. One just happened, so I'm gonna say that first. That's that, yeah, you know, we should big up Black Film Festivals because see something comes from it, you know what I mean? And we got the role from on the ABFF, like, that's just dope. So let's keep supporting Black Film Festivals.
Right.
I love how when black women write roles for black men, they only really women, I've never really seen too many black brothers or white people anyway, capture the vulnerability of black men, like how, what's his name? The bus driver. He was so vulnerable. He went into a phone. He was like, you know, what are you going to do? Make a decision. That's usually the position that you see the woman in on TV or film, black woman anyway. And to see a brother in that position, you just don't see that often, and usually only black women capture that. So, you know, big ups to that. Big ups.
Thank you, brother. That's a good question. That's a good comment. Thank you. Omari was in our film I Will Follow. Yeah. And I Will Follow, he was a sensitive, you know. Yeah. If you only let a brother into the house, I could have, you know, been everything to you. And so in this one, he was like, I want to be the harder guy. And I was like, okay, you can be the hard guy. And after he did the role, he was like, I'm still a softie. I was like, I love the brothers, so you're never going to be a bad guy in my film if you're a black man. So anyway, thank you.
So our last question, Sister Malika.
I'm deferring to my partner here. Well, I first want to say I really enjoy that. I mean, being an older woman and just seeing the gamut from when I was a kid of not seeing any black women on TV to having Julia and then the black exploitation film. This is very refreshing. So I'm happy, and I just hope you can continue to do that. I'm a big music person, so I want to know, are you going to have a soundtrack for this? Because you have some awesome music. And the sister's name again?
Yes, the sister's name is Ava DuVernay. And yes, we're going to have an iTunes soundtrack. We're indie. We can't afford no actual
No, that's
CDs.
good. That works.
But yeah, we'll have an iTunes soundtrack that'll be coming out on the week that the film opens, and we're also going to be giving a freebie pack of 4 songs from the film if you tweet your ticket stub. So if you tweet your ticket stub with a specific hashtag, you'll get sent the 4 MP3s with my favorite songs from the film. So, and those are being donated by the artists, most of which are Black independent artists that have given their songs. So,
Guapale's on there, right?
Guapale, Rare, Michelle, and then some real cool soul groups from other places. Pink from the UK has the closing song, Lil Dragon. It's a great soundtrack, if I may say so myself. We have a Black woman music supervisor, Morgan Rhodes, out of Los Angeles. She's great.
So can we give Ava DuVernay and her whole team a big round of applause?
Thanks, guys.